Time to get into the specifics. So, as global majority colleagues, business people navigating both the corporate and wider business world, how do we navigate that without radically changing who we are, bearing in mind the backdrop of stereotypes, judgments, labels, and invalidations and gaslighting of our experiences? Now, this is the topic that I'm going to be talking about as a Zoom next Thursday, the 25th of February at 6 p.m. with Leanne Meyer, who is an advocate for gender equality, and she does stuff specifically about leadership development for Black women. So the reason why I'm doing this as a Zoom and not a live is because a lot of the conversations that I'm hearing from colleagues internally, right? So these are people who are employed, and because Black is trending, their organisations are now jumping to put in leadership development programs. They're talking about diversifying boards, diversifying heads of departments, directors, and in some cases. And now there's a floodgate of opportunities that are open. You know, do you want to do this program? Do you want to be sponsored? Do you want to be mentored? And the problem is, if you're anything like me, part of you will be thinking, yep, this is great. You know, I've been saying this for like years. I've been waiting for the opportunities. I've been pushing for the opportunities and working twice, three times as hard. So part of you wants to go and yes, I'm going to run and do that. But the other part of you is probably thinking, well, hang on a minute. I've been here, right? I've sat here and been ignored, been invalidated, been gaslit, been told it's not my time, been told I'm too this, too that, not enough of this, not enough of that. So if you're in that space, there's always that tension almost between, like, do you take up these opportunities and not give the organisation the benefit of the doubt, but do you just go for it? Or do you think, I'm not going to be part of this because, well, you know, why should I? So the purpose of this webinar is just to unpack some of that, and for me and Leanne to get into a bit of a conversation between ourselves and also with you, if you do join, about how we can get in the right headspace, how we can challenge ourselves, how we can go back and challenge our organisations to make sure that what they're doing is not performative and tokenistic, but do it in a way which means we are still able to seize opportunities no matter how they're dressed up as they come, because let's be honest, we may not have that chance again. But just to be crystal clear, this is targeted at Black people, Black women, and by extension our global majority brothers and sisters. Or don't be coming thinking I'm going to be bringing in every other minoritized group. There's a time and place for those conversations, but this is not the conversation. Then the second webinar that we're going to run the week after, Thursday 6 p.m. GMT time, is about how internally or organisations can build contextual and impactful leadership development programs. This is for HR, learning and development people, DEI leads who have been tasked to go and build these programs, right? Because some of the challenges that I know that you face in this space is you've got the budget, you've got the sign off, you've got the sponsorship to do this. But when you're going to, you know, your Black colleagues or, you know, Black and brown colleagues and going, right, you know, here we are, you know, who wants to sign up? In some cases it's been crickets. In other cases there's been a distinct lack of enthusiasm, and whilst you kind of understand why, you're not sure what to do about it. So the purpose of this webinar is to highlight the importance of contextualizing your leadership development program, not only in how you communicate it, but also how you design and execute it. So we'll be talking about that, and we'll be giving some advice on how you can best do this if you're using your internal resources. So here are some things to think about. And if you do decide to go external and go and hire a company, a supplier, a consultant, a tech solution, if that's your thing, then we'll give you some questions to consider that you can ask of those suppliers. So again, you can make sure that the program that you put in is impactful, does have context, and won't be seen as tokenistic or performative. So hope that explains the purpose of the two webinars. I can't explain it in a caption. And then we can start getting into the real conversations that need to be had, validating people's lived experiences, but moving forward and making sure that we're just, where we have got these opportunities, we're just seizing them, you know, because let's be honest, we don't want Groundhog Day like we have had done for the last however many decades, right? I think spaces are limited to how many I can have in a Zoom room. So I think it's like 98 to include me and Leanne, otherwise we can't get in. But I will run more if you want me to run more, basically, so you can just let me know. So links for both sessions will be provided wherever I post this. So the first 15-20 minutes will be recorded. After that I'll switch it off and then we'll get into the conversation. So basically you're better off trying to get in first rather than watch the recording. All right, hope to see you there, and I hope that all makes sense. Speak soon.